What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate reverse rants, no hate. And I want to jump right into this video because I want to talk about a couple of things in one particular fighter. Airplane would have to be flying when I start recording, right? All right. So anyway, here's a question. We talk a lot about Tyson Fury, AJ, Deontay Wilder, Dillian White, and because of the upset defeat, Povetkin. But Hughie Fury, how good is Hughie Fury? I'm looking at him fight, and I started watching some more of Hughie Fury's fights, and I'm thinking, okay, he had a good showing against Joseph Parker. In fact, a lot of people, if not most, thought Hughie Fury won that fight. Now, I looked at Andy Ruiz against Joseph Parker. A lot of people, if not most, thought Andy Ruiz won that fight. So, not that it really matters of who had the better showing against Joseph Parker, because it's still three different fighters and every fight is different. But we talk about who's next in line to be that guy and the next crop of heavyweights in general. But I'm thinking like, well, how good is Hughie? Is Hughie ready? Do y'all see him being able to pull an upset off against any top fighter? AJ, I don't see him fighting his own cousin. And Fury, you never know, but I don't think that'll happen. I wouldn't wish that to happen, but if they did, hey, that would be up to them. You think he can beat Dillian White? Now, in my opinion, he can beat Deontay Wilder if he simply don't get knocked out. Because Deontay is easy to outbox Deontay. It's just the point that he winds up knocking the guy out, which it is what it is. So that will be, the case in that situation, because Deontay's not going to outbox him. But do you guys think he can pull an upset off against the very top guys? And I was thinking about that because I'm looking at him fight. Now we're talking about, because we got Daniel Dubois and Joe Joyce coming up. And, it's been said by Eddie Hearn, that the winner of that fight may be fighting Usyk. Now, we do know that Usyk has fought Joe Joyce before, okay, in the World Series, WSOS, World Series, whatever it was. Y'all know what I'm talking about. So, we do know that he beat him then. Daniel Dubois, in my opinion, from what I'm looking at, I'm expecting him to win this fight. And I think Daniel Dubois is going to do much better than people think. People, for some reason, are just sleeping on this guy, man. They're acting like he can't fight. And even in training, he has a video up right now where his trainer is telling him, he's saying in the camera, we don't want him to back up into a straight line. We want him to move his head more. And then somebody in the comments goes, oh, he's just like AJ. All power, no skill. He doesn't move his head. And I'm like, didn't you just hear his trainer say we want him to move his head more and not back into a straight line? Right? So in training is where you screw up, because you want to make sure whatever you're doing wrong, come fight night, you've gotten that out your system. Okay, no straight line, backing up, not moving my head. So anyway, looking at Hughie Fury, his name really doesn't come up. And people, oh, that's because he's in Tyson Fury's shadow. I mean, that could be it. But I look at everybody, you're your own man, right? And I don't think we should judge how good somebody is or isn't because they have a relative that's better than they are, or whatever. But do y'all think Hughie Fury is ready? I mean, somebody even said they see him as like a step-up fight for somebody like F.A. Jumbo. And I'm like, nah, man. From what I've seen of both fighters, Hughie will box circles around F.A. Jumbo. Come on. Hughie's much better than that. F.A. is still up and coming. F.A. still make a lot of rookie mistakes. And it's two different levels there. And not only that, you don't fight Joseph Parker and do that well against him and all of a sudden you can't beat F.A. Jumbo. So, I mean, it's like after that fight with Joseph Parker, He's fought, but I mean, it's been quiet. We haven't really heard too much about him. So I'm just looking at his growth. You know, like you can't really gauge it against guys that's not top level. If they're beating lesser fighters and they beat them in an astonishing fashion, okay, then it's like, yeah, we want to see him. Give him another shot. Because people are talking about all these other guys, but I'm looking at Hughie thinking, well, you know what? Hughie looked good against Joseph Parker. He moves a lot. You know, that's his style. So I'm thinking, well, they both fought. Him and Andy Ruiz both fought Joseph Parker. That right there itself is a storyline of, well, we both fought him. Most people felt like we won. So now that could be a potential future fight. Nobody's talking about that, but this is just me saying this. You know, because for some reason we're not talking about Hughie at all. Okay, well, that's that. Let me know. What do y'all see, Hughie? Do you think that he's ready for a big fight, one of the top guys? Do you think he's ready for that? You know, and that he can win it. Not just getting in, look good, but do you think he can pull off, you know, the upset? Because he'd be considered the underdog if he fought any of those guys, the very top guys. Okay, the top four, let's put it that way. Another thing, okay, I'm laughing my ass off, okay? You know, Thanksgiving was yesterday, so I didn't really want to do too much. What I did was I took the time to just respond to comments and address comments, but I didn't make any videos yesterday. So here it is, the day after Thanksgiving. What's funny is this morning alone, I go online and I see 17 new videos, new evidence that Tyson Fury cheated, new evidence. And they got one guy, he's showing where Deontay Wilder's throwing a right hook and Fury blocks it with like his left, like he, you know, parries the shot, and you see the glove looks floppy. And I'm saying, what's new about that? We all saw the floppy glove. We all agreed, yeah, the glove was floppy. Now prove that there was something in it. And I started laughing because, again, I said, does this guy not realize, and what his minions don't realize? What you guys are basically saying is, he got beat by a one-handed man. Because if you have your hand halfway in the glove, you're not getting any power behind that shit. And you probably fuck around and break your wrist just from the glove landing wrong. It's no different from you. Have you ever put your shoes in your feet and ran somewhere down the stairs, and then your ankle rolls the wrong way? It's the same shit with your wrist. The same shit can happen. So, not to mention, you got beat by a man that slaps and scratches. Because somehow, listen, Tyson Fury, don't let nobody tell you different. He's a bad motherfucker. He can multitask. That guy can throw just pinpoint perfect dirty shots to the point where he can actually stick his finger in your ear and scratch your shit. So he's like, wow. Okay? So you got beat by a man that slaps and scratches. And then people are saying, oh, it's funny how you can talk about Tyson Fury and how, you know, we and JDs and all this, but y'all can't address Glovegate. And I'm like, jackass, we've already addressed it. We don't believe you. Simple. You guys keep showing the same bullshit over and over. And here's the thing, people. We already know. These are not intelligent people. It does not matter if Deontay Wilder came out right now and said, look, fuck it, I did it. These motherfuckers would make an excuse. Nah, man, they probably threatened him. He's under pressure. That's why he said it. Deontay wouldn't do no shit like that. Even if it came out of his own mouth. Because we already heard him, saw his text, okay, about I was offered more money and all this other shit that he said, but people want to act like, no, it didn't really happen. So I started laughing because it's like, yeah, you guys keep making videos and we got the right to do the same thing because we about debunking bullshit. So if it ain't about truth, logic, and reason, we don't want to hear it. So anyway, look, people, that's all I'm going to say in this video. About to get my run on, put this road work in. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people. I will catch y'all on the next video.